Welcome in. This is Chiefs Chase, and my name is Mike Bassano. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your week with me, as it is the midweek Blitz. The Chiefs coming off of a bye week, still sitting at 5-0, and they are heading to San Francisco for a Super Bowl rematch from last year and from a few years back where the Chiefs won both of them.
First and goal. Mahomes flings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas City!
So, very exciting things coming up. We have a huge show to get to here. A lot to get to, especially when it comes to the world of trade talks. There have been a number of significant trades in the NFL this week, but none of them have involved the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a little painful. I'll be honest, it is. It's a little painful. But there's a big reason not to worry. We'll tell you what that is here in just a few minutes. But first, Davante Adams to the New York Jets. Amari Cooper, Buffalo Bills. The Chiefs, Sky Moore. That's what we're sitting with right now. It's nobody's favorite situation. I wish the Chiefs had every all-pro wide receiver in history. But right now, that's just not the case. So let's start with Davante Adams to the New York Jets. This just made so much sense for everybody involved. Davante Adams gets to go play with Aaron Rodgers again. Aaron Rodgers, after decimating an entire franchise, gets to have Davante Adams come play with them. Isn't it amazing? Get your head coach fired, get everybody fired. Doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers gets to destroy a man's career, Robert Saleh, who never really did anything wrong other than be a bad offensive head coach. So he decides to get Nathaniel Hackett, the guy that Aaron Rodgers loves. Aaron Rodgers loves Hackett. So Saleh brings him in. The Jets then aren't doing well to start the season. Saleh and Aaron Rodgers clearly have a little bit of a rift going on, right? We saw it throughout the season. And then Saleh's out. Davante Adams gets traded for, and they make his first appearance is part of Aaron Rodgers' Pat McAfee show appearance, which is just so fucking cheesy. I hated it. I'm sure Jets fans loved it. I'm sure that everybody involved, I just thought it was the worst. Aaron Rodgers has become the most unlikable player in the NFL. And I'm so glad that the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, a guy that not only is he a great football player, a generational talent, and one of the legends of the game already, before he's even 30 years old. He's all those things, but he's also a good person. We like Patrick Mahomes. Even if you don't like the Chiefs, even if you decide to find all the reasons in the world why the referees are helping the Chiefs, the NFL loves the Chiefs, they want Taylor Swift to be in the Super Bowl every year, even if you're one of those people, you cannot deny that Patrick Mahomes has been an unbelievable ambassador to the game. He's been an unbelievable player and a person every step of the way. Aaron Rodgers has been a consistent complainer, a consistent problem, and someone who I think has ruined the interior of multiple locker rooms. When he first went to New York, there were some happy times. There were some good moments there for Aaron Rodgers. He seemed a little bit happy in the Big Apple. And then he got injured. Then he spent a whole offseason doing ayahuasca and going on the Pat McAfee show. And now it feels like he doesn't really care that much about football. He just wants to play with his friend. That's fine. Let Davante Adams go to New York. I never thought he was a very good fit for Kansas City either. However, the other major trade of this week stuck in my chest and turned the knife. Amari Cooper. Look, I'm not saying that Amari Cooper takes the Chiefs and makes them an undefeated team. I'm not even saying that Amari Cooper might cause some issues just in the sense that he doesn't have a great rapport with Patrick Mahomes yet. I think there are multiple reasons to point to fully understand why Brett Veach didn't want to bring Amari Cooper to Kansas City. Without question. But there's also another factor here. I want Amari Cooper because I'm very greedy, and I want the Chiefs to have every all-pro wide receiver who's ever existed. With no Hollywood Brown and no Rashee Rice, I was hoping that we would see somebody come to Kansas City. We would see a wide receiver come to Kansas City and not necessarily save the situation, because quite frankly, at a 5-0, the Chiefs don't need saving, but it could very significantly help in these middle months that would be very stressful and very hard for the Chiefs. I thought Amari Cooper was the perfect fit for the Chiefs. He plays with Josh Allen now. If you needed another reason to hate the Bills, there it is. Josh Allen is going to be very good with Amari Cooper, and that is incredibly frustrating because Josh Allen has been good with a bunch of guys that you could find on the side of a milk carton. So the fact that he now has Amari Cooper, Cooper's a beast. That makes the Bills a major problem this year, much bigger than I thought they were going to be. When they lost Stephon Diggs and didn't really replace him, I think a lot of people, especially Stephon Diggs, decided that the Bills, their window had closed. I don't think that's the case for anybody anymore. I think we look at the Bills as a legitimate threat in the AFC. If you're thinking about who's going to take down the Chiefs, that's the number one thought for everybody because Chiefs are top dog, defending champions, undefeated. Absolutely. I don't care what any of the comments say. I don't care what anybody has to throw out there with their little conspiracy theories about referees and Taylor Swift. The Chiefs are the team to beat in the NFL, and absolutely, unequivocally, without question, the team to beat in the AFC. So everybody has to try to get better. The Jets got better. The Bills got better. I would have liked to see the Chiefs get better. Now, there is still a couple of options out there for Kansas City. We're going to get to those options right now. But I will say, I think this problem, this issue, what we're looking for here is not the most horrible thing that's ever happened to Kansas City. I think we're going to see a team that's very fine without any of the additions that they could have had over this week. I'll explain why in just a couple of minutes. But first, let's kick around the ideas. I've seen things from Bleacher Report, Athlon Sports, Sporting News, mostly just the publications that are out there throwing things against the wall to see what sticks. But I'm still reading it. You're getting my clicks, boys. Keep going. You're getting my clicks, baby. Just keep going with it. Bring me more. So let's start with the big one that's out there today, DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins currently plays for the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans and Will Levis are going nowhere this year. They don't have enough roster. They don't have enough talent. They don't have the quarterback. They don't have anything that you would need in order to actually be a successful team. So they have an ability to get rid of DeAndre Hopkins. The problem is DeAndre Hopkins makes a ton of money. This is why Amari Cooper was the perfect fit for Kansas City. The Chiefs could afford him. They could afford Amari Cooper. Look, if the Chiefs could afford anybody, go get Mike Evans. Oh, maybe should have done that during the offseason. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated because it's not Brett Veach's fault. Brett Veach had the wide receiver room covered. Seriously. Think about it. Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy. Who's mad at that wide receiver core? Who's mad at that pass catching unit? Nobody. That is top notch. Unbelievable. Going into this season, before the preseason began and Hollywood Brown went down with an injury, the Chiefs were unbelievably stacked at pass catcher. We were looking at a completely different team that was going to explode through the season. And even without Hollywood Brown, the Chiefs still had Rashee Rice, who was just monstrous. And he was coming into his own, not just being a great Chiefs wide receiver, but being one of the great wide receivers in the NFL. So when he went down, devastating. Does DeAndre Hopkins fill that role? I say no. I think DeAndre Hopkins at one time was a very good wide receiver. Frankly, at one time, he was the best wide receiver in the NFL, right? Houston Texans, 2019 DeAndre Hopkins was on a different level, but it's not 2018 anymore, guys. It's 2024. Guys age. Father time is undefeated, all right? I deal with it too. My knee doesn't feel as good as it did 10 years ago. That's just the way it is. That's life. So DeAndre Hopkins, unfortunately, is a victim of life. He's just a little too old. I don't think $26 million is worth it. And the amount you'd have to move around and everything you'd have to do in order to make a DeAndre Hopkins trade even viable would just be a little ridiculous to me. So not big on the DeAndre Hopkins idea. I think it would take him too long to get adjusted into the Chiefs offense as well. At least not necessarily from a playbook standpoint, but from getting on the same page as Patrick standpoint. You know what I mean? So that's a DeAndre Hopkins situation. I don't think it's a bad one. I wouldn't be like, oh, how dare the Chiefs make that trade? It's just not a trade I myself would make. I think the Chiefs have a lot of other players. We'll get to those in just a moment, but one more player to discuss that I saw thrown out there today, a guy that the people think the Chiefs might make a run at. Make sure I get the name right. Deontay Johnson from the Panthers. Deontay Johnson would be throwing spaghetti against the wall for a lot of reasons. Is he a talented wide receiver? Yes. Are we sure that he's better than what Kansas City already has? 7 catches, 130 yards for Juju last week. 2 weeks ago, whatever. You know what I mean? Maybe not. Maybe he's not the greatest. Also, and this is just, maybe I'm wrong here. Say what you want. I might be the most wrong person in the world when I say this. But when I see what's going on in Carolina with the Panthers, the last thing that I want to do is go get somebody from the Carolina Panthers. Why would I ever trust somebody from Carolina to be any semblance of good at football? They play for the Panthers. I know. I understand this is a ridiculous take in a lot of ways. But when someone comes from a culture like that, it's hard for them to adjust into a winning culture right away. Had they gotten Deontay Johnson before the season, then I'd be a little more willing to hear it. I'd be more willing to hear about Deontay Johnson if they went and got him before the year began. But you're in a losing culture right now. So for him to come to Kansas City, he would have to then adjust to a winning culture, which isn't easy. To just go, oh, I came from this place that was terrible. Now you're putting me in a room full of studs. Most of them have Super Bowl rings, many of them multiple Super Bowl rings, and I have to come in here and try to be the guy. That's incredibly difficult. I think it puts Deontay Johnson in a tough situation, and it puts the Chiefs in a tough situation that they don't need to be in, because here we are. The Chiefs do not need a wide receiver. They have the guys, and they have guys coming back for the playoffs. The only reason why the Chiefs would even think about getting a wide receiver right now is to make sure that they have one for the playoffs. But Hollywood Brown should be back by the playoffs, and he's dealing with a shoulder injury. He can stay fast. He can stay fit. He can run all he wants to, and with a guy like Hollywood Brown, his legs are his game. So when he comes back, you're going to have him for the playoffs. You don't need to go get a big-time wide receiver. You don't need to go get another guy because you have a guy. He's just injured right now. And with the Chiefs sitting at 5-0, why would we be in a world where we would think the Chiefs would have to go get somebody? This is just panic. It's injury panic. It happens all the time. It's nobody's fault. But when guys start going down, we start to get scared. Rashee Rice, very unlikely he comes back this year, but you will see Hollywood Brown back. And there's a chance for Rashee Rice. The point is, the Chiefs have Juju Smith-Schuster. I believe in Juju. I didn't believe in Juju when he got released by the New England Patriots, but he has proven me wrong. And why would I sit here and continue to doubt Juju Smith-Schuster when he's been doing everything he can to make sure that nobody could ever doubt him again? Why would you doubt Juju? 7 catches, 130 yards. He was given the shot. He was given the opportunity to be the number one guy for the Chiefs. And look what happened. Why would I think that Juju Smith-Schuster could never do that again? That it was some kind of fluke performance, that he couldn't go out there and be a legitimate number one wide receiver at all times? Absolutely he can. He's done it before earlier in his career, and he's not even 30 yet. Juju's got enough in the tank. The Chiefs don't need to start scraping around for other guys. If they could have gotten Amari Cooper, awesome. He's gone. All right, he's a Buffalo Bill now. He's the enemy. It's the truth. Devontae Adams, who was a Raiders, who is already the enemy, but now he's over with the Jets. He's an enemy again. We don't need these guys, man. We have Juju Smith-Schuster. The Chiefs have players. Sky Moore, he exists. Maybe he makes a catch and one doesn't pop off of his hands. Anything's possible. It's the NFL. I don't love the panic of going for a trade. If a trade made absolutely perfect sense, I would be screaming it from the top of the roof. But I don't think DeAndre Hopkins makes perfect sense. I don't think Deontay Johnson from the Panthers makes perfect sense. I think that Amari Cooper made sense to me. He was the only one. If you're not going to get him, totally fine. Roll with what you got. Juju Smith-Schuster, put on the hat, baby. It's number one time. Juju went from cut by the New England Patriots during the preseason to being brought back to Kansas City to see what he could have to now being the number one guy in Kansas City behind or with Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy's not a number one, though. And he makes mistakes here and there, but that's the thing. He's supposed to. He's a rookie. Just like with Carson Steele before they brought in Kareem Hunt, I don't love the idea of a rookie being put in a position to be a number one on this team. So make Juju number one, Xavier Worthy's number two. That's not bad. There's worse 1-2 punches in the NFL at wide receiver than Juju Smith-Schuster and Xavier Worthy. I'm not going to sit here and pretend there isn't. Sitting around like we got nothing but Bozo the Clown at wide receiver. The Chiefs have plenty at wide receiver, and they could be better, and they will when Hollywood Brown comes back in the postseason. And as a 5-0 team, you know you're probably going to make it to the postseason. So there's no reason to break the bank or cripple the draft or do anything rash when your team's playing well. You're 5-0, and you don't need a guy who's going to get you over in the playoffs because you have a guy coming back in Hollywood Brown who's going to get you over in the playoffs. The Chiefs are just fine at wide receiver, and I'm very happy with what they have. Staying happy. All right, now, there's a bit of a controversial thing happened during the bye week for the Chiefs. Shocking. The Chiefs have controversy. It's part of being the dynasty, by the way. Like all the stuff that happens with the Chiefs, just like all the stuff that happened with the New England Patriots, all that stuff just happens. It does. On every team. But with it's the Patriots, with Tom Brady, everybody's paying attention. With Belichick and all that stuff. Same thing with the Chiefs now. Anything that happens in Kansas City is going to get so much more publicity than it would if it happened with the Carolina Panthers. Because the Chiefs have by far the biggest microscope over them of any team in the NFL. We'll tell you what's going on with that controversy coming up in just a few minutes. But first, there's a heavy-winded tease right there. There's a heavy-winded tease. I'm into it, though. We'll get to it in just a second. But first, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift attend Game 1 of the ALDS to cheer on the Guardians as they take on the damn Yankees. We're sad that the Royals aren't in that series. They lost to the Yankees, but that's okay. That's part of the deal. I was just happy the Royals were involved. And after what we thought they were going to be this year and what I think we accepted them to be at multiple times this year, for the Royals to get to where they did, very commendable. Just want to throw that as an aside. But Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift left the house, so we have to talk about it. That's just life now. Get used to it. I'm kidding. It's relevant because while they were at this game, I was thinking, Travis Kelce, he's taking on a lot of hate for dating Taylor Swift, which is kind of sad. Because you have to think about the amount of people who have been drawn to the game because of Travis Kelce. The amount of people who have been shown the NFL in a different way because of Travis Kelce. Before Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift got together, ratings weren't as high because people weren't watching to see Taylor. Well, I know. The vast majority of those people, they're only going to watch for Taylor Swift. And yeah, it's a little bit annoying because it's the thing we love and they only love it because of this thing and it kind of gets on your nerves. I understand that. That's part of life. That sucks. But there is a portion of those fans who came just to watch Taylor Swift and see her. Well, I want to watch Taylor watch her boyfriend play. Yeah, it's a little weird to me, but not to them. They love it. Good for them. Enjoyable. And a portion of those people will really fall in love with the NFL. And that makes Travis Kelce such an important part of this league. A man who is a true ambassador for the game. And he's carrying himself in a way now, I think, that everyone can agree This is not 2016 Travis Kelce throwing flags at the official. This is a completely different world of person, and he is a grand ambassador to the game of football and a grand ambassador to the NFL. Now, whether you like or don't like the new fans that are coming in, frankly, I don't care, and neither does Roger Goodell's bottom line. We are getting real NFL fans because of Travis Kelce and his relationship with Taylor Swift, and it's a good fan base. It's strong. Bring in more people. But even Travis Kelce knows, despite all the amazing things he's doing for the NFL, all the amazing things he's doing for the Kansas City Chiefs, all the amazing things he's doing for football in general, all it takes is one loss. And he said as much on his podcast when Pat McAfee came on and gave him his flowers.
Travis, you and Taylor's relationship is great for the sport. Like, it is getting introduced to so many people, and you are and have been the perfect representation for our sport too, I think. Personally, genuinely, I think there's no other human that could do what you're doing right now, and how you're doing it is awesome. And you need to know that all of us are incredibly fucking proud of the way you're representing all of us, dude.
I just got to keep winning. As soon as if we lose a game, I mean, it's gonna fucking rain down, baby. We're just gonna keep winning. Just gonna keep winning, staying on top.
That's the New Heights podcast, and he's right. It's unfortunate. It's not fair. Travis Kelce, all it takes is one loss, and we're going to have to find a bunker for him. Everybody's going to come raining down on him as soon as they lose. All last year it happened. We have this revisionist history amongst Chiefs fans, where last year Taylor Swift came in and we were all on board. No, after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, we were all on board. But the vast majority of fans that I know, my friends and family that are all Chiefs fans, everybody was like, this is going to be a distraction. She's going to be She's distracting the team. She's distracting the team. Everybody thought that. And the only reason all that stopped chirping out from Chiefs fans is because the Chiefs won a Lombardi trophy. If the Chiefs didn't win a Lombardi trophy, I guarantee you there would be a section of the fans that said, well, if we didn't have that Taylor Swift around, we probably would have won the Super Bowl. Well, we did have that Taylor Swift around, and the Chiefs did win the Super Bowl. So all those people are quiet as church mice. However, as Travis said, all it takes is one loss, and they will all come out of the woodwork. They're waiting for it. And you can almost kind of feel it, right? You can kind of feel these skeevy losers wanting to seep out of the shadows to just try and crush Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Travis has had back-to-back great games, right, where he's been really solid and he's been a big part of the offense. For the first 3 games, he wasn't as big of a part of the offense. And what happened? Everyone, Travis Kelce's in his washed era. Travis Kelce fell off. This fall off needs to be studied. It's part of what happens when you play under a microscope. And Travis Kelce has done an absolutely phenomenal job of playing under this microscope that it's so hard. I feel for Travis every day, every week. When I watch him, I'm like, everything he does, good or bad, is amplified times 1,000. Because this is a guy that I've been watching since 2013 when he was drafted. I was on the air on 610 Sports Radio in Kansas City on Friday night, I think it was. I think Friday night. I think it was like one of the first years. They had the Thursday, like, first round was had its own night. It might have been the first year or one of the first years. So the Chiefs took Eric Fisher that first round. Then the next night, I was covering it. We had somebody in New York covering the draft because that year that draft happened in New York. This is how good my memory is of that night. And the third round came. The Chiefs didn't have a second round pick because they traded it for Alex Smith. But then that third round came. And Travis Kelce was on the board. We didn't know a lot about him. Tyrann Mathieu was around. Remember, Mike Glennon was around. I think Glennon had just been taken by the Bucs right before the Chiefs pick, I believe. I don't remember for sure. But I remember we were talking about potentially Mike Glennon because Alex Smith at the time was seen as sort of this castaway from San Francisco. We weren't sure if he was going to be any good, right? Colin Kaepernick had taken his job. We knew he was coming in. We knew he was good. He was better than what we had in Matt Castle the year before. It was Matt Castle, right? It's a revolving door of pain. It's hard to remember it all. So we knew that Alex Smith coming in would be at least somewhat of an upgrade. But there was an idea that we needed another quarterback. Instead of that, they took Travis Kelce. And since that day, we have watched a guy who has loved the hell out of football. And now he's using that love of football to permeate throughout the country, throughout the world. And it might be through the vehicle of Taylor Swift's fan base, but the reality is this says so much about what Travis Kelce has brought to the game and his ambassadorship and his ability to help grow the game in such a great way. So I'm very happy for him, and I will stand on the front lines as a human shield for Travis if the Chiefs lose a game. I'm still looking at 20-0, and I ain't changing it. We'll get to what looks like the next step in 20-0 coming up in just a few minutes with a rematch of the Super Bowl. But first, Harrison Butker is launching his Upright Pack. It's a pack that is going to focus on traditional values. I say good for him. Here's the deal. I can't wait for the Chiefs Dynasty documentary. Oh my God. You got the Taylor Swift angle. And then on the flip side, you have Harrison Butker being like, hey, why aren't women in the kitchen? It's unbelievable. Look, I know that's not what Harrison really said. I don't want to get everybody ruffled up. I'm just having a little fun. You're allowed to think however you want to think. Okay? If you think Harrison's right, good for you. If you think Harrison's wrong, good for you. I stand on the side of, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to get through the day. You want to have a football discussion? Let's have a football discussion. You want to have a discussion about how women should lead their lives? I'm trying to figure out how to lead my life, dog. I'm not even getting close into that conversation. How should women live their lives? What's the duty of a man and a woman? I don't know. I have no idea. Why would I be the one that anyone comes to answer that question? On a flip side, why would Harrison Butker be the one? Well, I guess he's hit a lot of game-winning field goals. It takes a lot of discipline, has a lot of mental strength involved in it. I don't know. He has credentials. For me, as for how I feel, I don't know, man. I'm not sure what I'm going to have for dinner tonight. That's my next big decision. All right. So I don't like getting into all that stuff because I'm like, look, just live your life. Do how you want to do. If you're a woman, you want to go to work, go to work. You're a woman, you want to have a family, have a family. Forget about what everybody tells you. And that includes Harrison Butker. That includes name far left person. I don't care who. Who's a far left person now? Who's like an extreme Mark Ruffalo? What a pull. Yeah. The Hulk. He does have a lot of political opinions, and if you want to shape your political opinion after the Incredible Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, you are more than welcome to do so. But I have to mention it because it was a controversy. The Chiefs, I can't wait for the Chiefs Dynasty documentary, man. Oh my God. Rashee Rice's mom. But then Xavier Worthy's mom, right? There's a dark and light to everything. We have so many good things and so many bad things with the Chiefs. It's great, man. It's wild. The Kareem Hunt section is going to be crazy. I'm excited for Kareem Hunt, and I expect Kareem Hunt to run wild this week as the Chiefs take on the 49ers in San Francisco in a Super Bowl rematch. Didn't work out too well for Kyle Shanahan and the Niners. Here's the thing to remember. I know that a lot of people are going to pick the Niners. Simple enough. It's a revenge game, guys. Of course they're going to pick the revenge team. Everybody wants to pick the revenge team. You'd be kind of stupid not to, unless Andy Reid's the coach and he's coming off of a bye. Andy Reid's record off a bye is legendary. Patrick Mahomes' 12-2 record off a bye is legendary. Wait, is it 12-2? Actually, don't quote me on that. I can't remember exactly what it was. It's insane. I think it's 12-2. It's hard for me to believe Patrick ever lost a game coming off of a bye, but I think it is possible. Andy Reid almost never loses a game if he has 2 weeks to prepare. So, yeah, Chiefs by 100. You kidding me? This has been Chiefs Chase, and check us out right after the game, Chiefs 49ers. I'll be right here talking with you, giving you every single bit of fun that we can have on the Chiefs Chase postgame podcast. But this has been the Midweek Blitz. I'm Mike Bassano, and thank you so much for spending a little bit of your week with me. Enjoy the game.